When it was the primary season and that was in full swing, I mean, it was described as sleepy. Some have said even boring. If you told us that what would happen now, then, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. And 93% of people, or voters rather, according to this poll, are either very or extremely motivated to vote. Do you think it's typical to see this much excitement?
I think so. We haven't seen excitement levels quite like this election cycle. But once we get closer to the eventual election, I think that it does tick up. I think that we're starting to see this approach more quote unquote normal levels for a presidential election cycle. But you're right, it was a fairly sleepy primary season, and only in the past month to 6 weeks have things really started to take off. But yeah, I think among likely voters, especially, these are about the levels that we would expect. And I think it's good for everyone that, we are seeing these levels of excitement and people intending to go out and vote for their candidate.
I said this at the top of the conversation, but obviously this election has dramatically shifted from the last time you and I spoke, which was less than a month ago. And from a polling perspective, have the fundamentals of this election changed within the past 3 to 4 weeks? Has everything you've known about the election gone out the window?
I wouldn't say that it's gone out the window. I think that the fundamentals have changed. We obviously have a new candidate on the Democratic side, and we're starting to see a more, again, normal distribution that we would expect during a presidential election year. So, the youth vote, especially, that was looking very strange. We saw President Trump sometimes winning among under 30-year-olds. I don't think that we've seen that in any of the past election cycles. So the fundamentals were really very different with Biden at the top of the ticket. I think now we're starting to see something that approaches what we'd expect a little bit more. Again, that Harris +4, that's very close to the 2020 results. So, once we start looking at the states, the narrative does shift, I think, and we'll have swing state polling out later this month to see exactly where those shifts are occurring. But again, I think this is just looking a lot like 2020, but that means a very close race in a lot of these swing states.